a fight with my mom. 50 bands in a day. One more, but I'm straight.
You know what I will say? Other rappers should be embarrassed. Other rappers should be embarrassed that a man in his mid 50s is making better rap music than like most of these dudes out right now. Like bro's album so far is better than both of Kanye's albums this year combined. Vulture. Here's what I'll say though. I will give a lot of people hate Vultures 2. I think Vultures 2 has better tracks than Vultures 1. Even though it has some weaker tracks than Vultures 1, I think Vultures 2 actually has better tracks than Vultures 1. There probably wasn't a single track that I took from Vultures 1 that's still in rotation. I could see a couple tracks from Vultures 2 being in my rotation once I revisit it. But like so far, consistency wise, this is better than a lot of albums that have dropped this year. This is better than let me look at the albums. Kanye just is trying to stay relevant. He's bipolar. There's a lot more with Kanye than bipolarness at this point, my friend. Let me look at all the albums from this year that I've heard. Vultures 1, Quadeca Scrapyard. That one actually was a pretty solid album. Joyner Lucas, Not Now I'm Busy. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. J. Cole's Might Delete Later. Uh Childish Gambino's At a Vista. Eminem's The Death of Slim Shady. Denzel Curry's The King of Mischievous South Volume 2. Vultures 2. And Lil Dicky's Peanut. So far, this album, the only album I wouldn't say this is better than so far is Quadeca's. Oh, and then also Childish Gambino released Bano Stone in the New World. Yeah, so far the only album I would probably say this album isn't better than is probably Quadeca's Scrapyard. And none of these albums I haven't revisited back lately. The most recent album I've heard was Vultures 2. So, he's still a genius despite the garbage he puts out. My Delete It Later is up there, especially if he didn't delete the last track. I actually very disagree. I was not crazy about My Delete Later at all. And the last track wasn't as bad as everybody was saying, but like the whole album, something was off with Cole on that one. Like Cole really put out some of his weakest verses and songs that I've heard that I've heard in a minute. Like Fever was terrible. Fever, here's what I think happened with My Delete Later. He's been hanging around Drake too much. He really has. Like, and I'm glad nothing bad was said about J. Cole. Nothing really terrible was said about J. Cole during that whole Kendrick and Drake beef. But really, I think what happened with My Delete Later is Drake's influence was way too high up there. Like, Fever was straight up a Drake made track. Like, I don't want to hear that. I really don't want to hear that ever again. Like, and then like that Ab Soul track you're talking about with him and Daylight, they fucking killed their verses. That was probably one of the highlights of that album. But then J. Cole came in with a verse about like, and like it doesn't like it's not because I'm like or like think he's homophobic or whatever. But he came in with like some kind of bar that reminded me of like old J. Cole. And I really hate old J. Cole because of some of those like one-liners like what was it? The only like there was Can't Get Enough, which I think is a good song, but this one line like I never would have thought J. Cole would have said a line like this ever again in today's day and age. Like it was what was the line? What was the fucking line off Can't Get Enough? it was probably make a gay brother reconsider. Like ass so big, it'll probably make a gay brother reconsider. Like he said, he's kind of like bar similar to that in that track with Absol. And I know he said lines like that before. Don't get me wrong, but like they never like felt weird hearing those type of. It's weird hearing those types of lines from Cole. Like like it's very common to hear those types of lines, especially back then from rappers. But it just never, for some reason, with J Cole, it just never sit well with me. Like it just never did. Like they stood out like sore thumbs to me. Like I just never like he has quite a few on Cold World like that. He has a couple on Born Sinner like that. And like just those cringe type of lines, like I was never is the reason honestly, like I don't really like J. Cole's early discography. I don't like Cold World has grown on me, but like Born Sinner, I fucking hate. I fucking hate Born Sinner. Like it's aside from the title track, there's not really anything I'm pulling from that album. I really just don't like it. I like I don't really like J. Cole until he did Forest Hills Drive. And even then, Forest Hills Drive, For Your Eyes Only, and the Off Season are J. Cole's best projects. And in my opinion, those are the only good projects. See, and I didn't care about the deluxe either. Like there's not a single track off like what was it? We as Americans or whatever that American anthem song that I think's the first bonus track. I think that's a good track, but I don't really care for any of the other tracks off the Born Center Deluxe. Uh I love Born Center. I bought it when it came out on CD, got the deluxe version. See, I don't understand the love for Born Center. I just truly don't. Like for the first time, like not for the very first time, but like born the the one of the few times I agree with Anthony Fantano on a review really is Born Center. I just don't get it. I just don't get the hype over it. And like KOD, I was very let down by. Cold World, like I said, has grown on me. Um, and then just My Delete Later was just a complete, not a complete miss. There were a couple tracks I liked. Like I don't know if you've tuned in, but like Pray the Truth and Ibizea or whatever that track name is, the final track, fucking, it's grown on me. That's easily the best track on that album from as far as Cole goes. But like, I think the only other tracks I took off that mixtape was Pricey. The second track, I don't remember what it was. I don't remember the name of it. And then I think maybe one more. But other than that, like I'm not crazy about My Delete Later and early J. Cole. And My Delete Later definitely reminded me of early J. Cole. You know what I mean? So, but enough of that. We're not here for J. Cole anymore. We're here for LL Cool J. Let's get into Proclivities featuring Swadey. Shoddy? I don't know how to say her name. Let's go ahead and check it out. Power Trip is the second most played song on his iTunes playlist. Yeah, but see, here's the problem. Here's the problem with J. Cole. Here's the problem. I'm only keeping this up because you're keeping the conversation alive. Um, J. Cole's. I'm not crazy about many of J. Cole hits of his hits. I'm truly not. Like the only album I would say I really like the hits on is probably Cold World. But like Born Sinner, I can't stand She Knows. I'm not crazy about Power Trip. Um like 2014, No Role Models is so fucking overplayed and even before the whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith thing, I just never really cared for it. Like the title of the track doesn't match what I was expecting. It truly didn't. Um Runaway is a good one. Runaway is one of the few I actually like. I don't remember Trouble too well. But like, and that's why I like for me, the off season is his best album, and then right after that, For Your Eyes Only, because they're just consistent albums. I love the consistency in both those albums. With For Your Eyes Only, I think you're getting a very deep story, and I was praising For Your Eyes Only before everyone started to recently. But like the off season, I fucking fell in love with it as soon as I heard it. Like it's just a lyrical slaughter of 12 tracks. He's just killing beats. Like he has some of the dopest punchlines. Like it's just motivational. It really is. Like he's hungry on that shit, and I fucking love it. You know what I mean? But like even like KOD, like the hits on KOD. What there's the title track, and then there's Count It Up or ATM. That's the name of the track. Not crazy about those at all. Heaven's Heart. Oh my fucking god, I can't stand that song. Really, truly cannot. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not completely crazy. Like, and that's why I can't put J. Cole like in the same conversation as um that's why I can't put him in the same conversation as some of my favorites. I love a lot of J. Cole songs, but there's so many weak ones in his catalog. And his albums overall just don't stack up compared to other artists, especially some of my favorites. You know what I mean? So, see, I don't like those albums. I really dislike a lot of Cole's albums, but I love Born Sinner, and that's fine. I'm not saying your opinion is wrong or anything. You know, but I like, and then see, I have a friend who's like I'm pretty sure shares a lot of opinions with you, Herman. Like he loves early J. Cole. He loves Whole World. He loves Born Sinner. It's just not for me. It's just I've never cared for them. For me, Whole World took a while to grow on me, but I will still never consider it a good album. And Born Sinner, on last time I listened to it, it wasn't as bad, but it's just very boring. This is just a very boring sounding album to me.
I'm trying to be perfect, that shit is exhausting. An infinite force that nitpicking niggas get lost in.